clarity and so on. The me and the you, we and they, right? And from this center, all action takes place, right? All our aspirations, all our ambitions, our quarrels, our disagreements, our opinions, judgments, experience is centered in this. Right? Could we go on? Shall I go on? We are together here so far, aren't we? Not only the conscious self acting outwardly, but also the deep inner consciousness which is not open, obvious. Right? So all this is the me, the I, the ego, the person, the different levels of consciousness. All that is me. Right? Now the questioner asks, is it possible to be free of this center? Right? Why does one want to be free from this center? Is it because this center is the cause of division, me and you, my country and your country, my belief and your belief, my God and your, and so on, so on. And where there is division, there must be conflict. Right? Is this, can we go on? That is, when the me is the active element that is operating all the time, and in you the same me, with a different name, with a different color, different job, with different position, with hierarchical social structure, you are Lord so-and-so, somebody else is a servant and so on. It is the same me dividing itself into different categories, right? Socially, economically, religiously. I think that's very clear. And one realizes where there is division, there must be conflict. The Hindu and the Muslim, the Jew and the Arab, the American and the English and the French and the German, so on, so on, so on, so on. That is physically obvious. And that has brought about in the world tremendous wars, great agony of people, brutality, violence, right? The self identifying itself with an ideal, noble, ignoble ideals, and fighting for that ideal. But it is still the ego trip. Right? It's like those people who go to India, I don't know why, but they do, trying to find spirituality and putting on a different fancy dress and saying, I'm going to find spiritual things there. They've only changed the garb, the clothes, but they are essentially the me, which is operating all the time, struggling, endeavoring, grasping, denying, deeply attached. deeply attached to one's experience, to one's ideas, to one's opinions, to one's longings. Right? And as one lives, as one observes, this center, this me, is the essence of all trouble. And also all pleasure, all fear, all sorrow. So it says, how am I to get rid of this center? I hope it is clear. We can expand it more, but that is the essence of it. There are too many questions. So, is it possible, the questioner asks, to be really free? Absolutely, not relatively, which is fairly simple. One can be little unselfish. One can be concerned with social welfare, with others and so on. But the center is always there, biting, hard, brutal. We all know this. So is it possible to be free of that center? First of all, the more effort is made to be free of the center, the more, please listen to this, the more one makes an effort to be free of the center, that very effort strengthens the self. Right? Like those people who go off into meditation of various kinds, trying to impose something upon it, and that me then captures that, identifies with that, and it says, I've achieved. But it's still the center. Right? So, please, to be first, to understand whether it's possible to be free, there must be no effort. Right? Which doesn't mean doing what one likes. That's clear. No? No? If one doesn't make an effort, then let's do what we like. Which is still the movement of the self. Whether you put on a yellow robe or purple robe or join a monastery, it is the self still. Identified with an ideal and pursuing that ideal through great effort. But the movement is from the center. I wonder if that's clear, isn't it? So what is one to do? If you are not to make an effort, because you see the truth of it, that the more you make an effort, the greater the travail of the self. It is the self that's making an effort to be free of itself. And therefore it's still involved in it. Imagining that it will be free, it will be imagining that it will be, etc., etc. But it is still the activity of the center, me. Then what is one to do? Before we go into that, is there a real self apart from the self created by thought with its images? The question says, is there a real self? Many people feel that. The Hindus have said there is the highest principle, which is the self. And